One night, I was scrolling through Steam and clicked on the new releases tab, and what I found was truly peak. Blood High is a fast-paced first-person shooter that feels like those classic old boomer shooters, but just a little bit faster. The game was made by an indie development team called Olive Games, a team behind a game called X Invader, which is a top-down shooter, and Savior of the Abyss, an adventure horror game. In Blood High, you play as a vampire that had her head cut off, and now you have to find a culprit that decided to do a little trolling, but in reality, it's all on you because you decided to fall asleep first at the sleepover. When you first launch the game, you will have a few choices to start: roguelike mode, casual mode, and tutorial. Of course, I went for the tutorial first. The tutorial teaches you basics of the game, how to look, how to walk, you know, everything. Look, move, jump, jump. Then you get greeted by this guy that has a star for a head. His name is Superstar. He will walk you through the tutorial and explain everything you need to know. He tells you that you're missing something, then he hands you your head. Let me see here. Russell. Here it is. Next, you learn that you can dash with shift and kick with F. I personally didn't get much use of the kick, but the dash is really useful, especially when you're about to fall off the map. Next, you learn how to shoot. Superstar hands you the blood siphon gun and spawns in a few star-shaped enemies for you to try out your new toy. After you've exercised your second amendment, Superstar explains that enemies from now on will drop bottles of blood that, when picked up, will fill your bloodlust gauge, displayed on the collar around your neck. Bloodlust is used for the next mechanic in the game, which is throwing your head. When this icon appears on the top of an enemy, you can throw your head to execute them, which will heal you, and if you throw it without that icon, it will still deal damage. When you heal past your maximum HP, you will enter Blood High, that will increase your attack speed, movement speed, and your jump power. Next, you get introduced to these vending machines, that when kicked will give you a small HP boost. They're a nice thing to have, and can help a lot if you fall off the map, get sent back to the last checkpoint, and get back without losing all of your blood. Yeah, your HP constantly drains. It's a little bit of a side effect when your head is not on your shoulders. After the tutorial ends, Superstar tells you to wake up, because this was all a dream, and when you wake up, the intro is shown in a form of a few images, which I had a pretty normal reaction to. Yeah!
This is my
We enter the first stage of the game, which is called Six Dragon Mansion. Once you wake up, you will find yourself in an apartment complex, from which you will have to escape, all while you kill everything you see. Okay. Okay. Shut the f up, bro. Let's go. Nice. At the start of the second level, you will see a ramen stand and a weapon stand. The ramen stand allows you to select a ramen that will give you a power up for that stage. There aren't many power ups and most of them are basic, like max HP, but there is one I will choose without even looking at the rest, and that is the add dumplings ramen, which will give life steal on execution. This is really overpowered, especially when there are tons of enemies to execute. The second stand is the weapon stand, where you can choose and upgrade your weapon for the level, not the stage, level. There are 4 weapons in the game. The previously mentioned Blood Siphon Gun. The Blood Siphon Gun is really my favorite in the bunch. It behaves just like any other pistol in video games, and when you upgrade it, it shoots multiple projectiles at once and gets more ammo. A minigun, which is just an Uzi. The Uzi shoots very fast and is extremely inaccurate, and when you upgrade it, it shoots even faster and gets more ammo. That being said, good luck trying to hit anything, cause if you're not 1 centimeter in front of an enemy, you'll just be spraying the wall behind them. A shotgun. The shotgun behaves just like any other shotgun in video games. Good up close, bad far away. And when you upgrade it, it gets piercing, more ammo, and more projectiles when you shoot. And a katana. The katana fires large projectiles that cut anything they touch. And when you upgrade it, the projectiles become even larger and it gets more attack speed. In the third level, a new type of enemy is introduced. A bomb enemy that, you guessed it, explodes on impact. You can also kick them to send them flying into the other enemies to kill them. But this will rarely happen because there is so much chaos that you really don't even see them. Plus, they are incredibly short. After making your way out the apartments, you jump down to the streets, where you will have to fight your first boss of the game, the Red Ogre. She is fast, always trying to get close to punch you. Sometimes she will throw boulders, which are really easy to avoid by an indicating circle on the ground. She can also stomp the ground, causing smaller rocks to basically start levitating in a circle, and you need to jump to dodge them. Now you're on the streets, and they are filled with enemies. Once you step foot into the next fight, the game introduces shielded enemies. They have this blue icon above them, meaning that they can't be executed and you will have to crack their shields before you can damage them. They don't really affect the gameplay, they just need more bullets to die. I haven't really talked much about the enemies because I just feel like they are eye with wing and guy with gun, guy with bigger gun, also guy that jumps, but they all have the same purpose: to kill you. After killing 0.1% of Japan's population, which is like 45 million, I think. You decide to take the train to the temple that the Dark Lord is located at. What temple and what Dark Lord am I talking about? Well, the one who placed the curse on you, and the reason why you're carrying your head in your arms. The game isn't really straight on telling you where you need to go or what you need to do. You just kinda roll with it. Anyways, that train starts without you, and you need to outrun it. There are speed boosters on the ground, which makes it easier, but what doesn't make it easier are the enemies that are just waiting for the train to run them over. There are also these big barrels that you need to shoot to progress, and when you see these 3 red shipping containers, that's when you know that it's over. You jump over them using a launch pad and end the level. Now it's time for the second boss of the game. The second boss of the game is Blue Mist. She creates shadow clones of herself and you need to guess which one she is. But that really isn't that hard because she's shielded and that blue icon really gives it away. She fires shurikens that damage you. On her own they are easy to avoid, but when there's 5 of her, it's really easy to get overwhelmed. And on my first try, this happened.
This comes so far. Nice! Nice! What?!
Every single one of y'all in this stream right now. And you know you type stream.
Nah, this shit ain't real, bro.
Nah, this shit ain't real, bro.
After defeating her, you entered the third and final stage of the game, the Blood Knight Castle. The Blood Knight Castle is directly inspired by Demon Slayer's Infinite Castle. It's literally a copy-paste of it. The platforms, the walls, everything has been done to look like it. We now get introduced to a new type of enemy, the counter enemy. These guys can counter your head throw and block your bullets. When you throw your head at them, you take damage. The only way to kill them is just by waiting so they stop blocking. Now you are making the final push, going from room to room, clearing everything in sight, and even at one point fighting on the rooftops of the castle. And when you finally reach the end, it's time for the third and final boss, the Blood Moon Lord. She is really hard to beat, firing so much projectiles from her katana that you cannot even process what's happening. And on top of that, she summons those counter enemies while being able to counter herself. I don't know why, but my game lagged like hell. When I was fighting her, I lowered my graphics to low and it still lagged. So I had to fight both her and my FPS. When you finally beat her, an outro plays in form of images just like the intro did, showing you pointing your gun at her head and demanding her to fix your neck. She refuses and proceeds to blow up the whole castle. You come out alive, putting your head back on your body, which doesn't work, and in the end, the sun and Superstar watch over you. And that's basically it. You get booted out to the main menu. You can now play the game again, try to beat your high score, or even compete with the others for the first place of the high score. But really, that's just it for the game. The game is, depending on how well you play, short, taking about 1.5 hours to finish, with each stage taking about 30 minutes to complete. But the fun you will have makes all up for it. Okay. Bye.
I just smashed your phone.